Welcome to the More You Look podcast. Welcome to the More You Look podcast.
I don't think there's anything funnier than Arsenal. Yeah, and here's the thing. I don't think that any one of us expected them to win the league after, the draws and the loss at City. But then they lost to Nottingham.
This is my thing. This is my thing. You know how Arsenal
they lost to Notting Hill.
Yeah, you know how Arsenal fans can be. Where, even after the loss to Brighton 3-0, they were still thinking there's hope.
Yeah, but City will drop it.
Yeah, hopefully Chelsea will hold City down. See, let me tell you something. Me, I'm a Chelsea fan from 1997. Even I myself, I do not have hope that Chelsea will stop Man City at all.
So what Chelsea does historically
This
in
season,
the past few years
is
when Leicester won the league. Remember, Leicester didn't play to win. We drew Tottenham. Leicester won. I think the season after that, we beat someone or something and somebody else won.
Yep.
So this season, we will humbly take our thrashing. Arsenal went and lost to Nottingham.
The funny thing for me is after they lost to Brighton, Arsenal, I was in Arsenal fans. The next game is Nottingham Forest, at least.
And 3 points.
If they can wipe Nottingham, play a 4-0 or 3-1 or something, 3 points is sure. Then hopefully, if Man City lose to Chelsea, permutations everywhere.
Last day.
Permutations all over the gaff.
That's true.
Then I saw the Nottingham Forest game. I just started laughing. They just felt. To me, I just saw a bunch of guys that had already lost hope.
Yeah.
If you watch, that's not the Arsenal we've seen for most part of the season.
I mean, it's interesting. Their manager actually played Partey at right back.
Honestly, I think at that point, even at the time himself, you already let go. They say let go and let God. You already let go and let Man City. You let go and let Man City. Oh, yeah, Arsenal fans. Maybe I saw one guy on Arsenal fan TV, Arsenal TV this morning saying, Chelsea fan can't tell me shit. United fan can't tell me shit. Tottenham fan can't tell me shit. Just because they are all below us on the table. Guys. Yes. And I thought, I'm happy. I'm 12. Yes. We've had a horrible season. But you guys, it's been consistent, and there's nothing worse than being a butler. If anything, as far as awards go,
you know what, the league should give them a huge
butler. No, it's not good that. As far as awards go for this season, Arsenal have somehow, some way managed to keep Spurs to that award of butler of the season.
Yeah, so I was joking about this, but I think I'm going to start a petition, right? The league needs to give Arsenal, because when Arsenal won the title without losing anything, they always go back to, we got that golden trophy.
Invisible, yeah.
So they need to give them a huge bottle of champagne in commemoration.
And it's great on you guys, yeah? It's great on you guys.
The worst bottling of the season. I have never seen anything like it. And I have a prediction. We'll come back to this.
Drum roll.
We will come back to this. Next season, everybody starts with a clean slate. Arsenal won't even be in top 3.
Wow.
Yes. I know they are planning to spend money this time and all that. I don't see Arsenal finishing top 3.
Why are you such a hater?
No, it's not being a hater.
It is being
you
a hater.
guys are known
being a hater.
to be consistent butlers.
But here's the thing, right? I can see what you're saying. Because the typical Arsenal fan will presuppose that because this season, we've done so well, we push City
next
to
season,
the brink and
stuff.
So next season, boss, they forget that Liverpool will
they're forgetting. Yeah,
Chelsea will re-up.
Liverpool and Chelsea have had
maybe
a horrible season.
And don't forget, Newcastle has these buyers and they have stupid money. Yes. So you are not going to walk.
You are not.
It's just not going to happen.
All those things, is what I just thought of, and I thought they won't be top 3 next season. We will revisit this. You see, I will look at you guys and I'll say, I told you.
And I will laugh at you guys and
But guess what? You are not laughing now.
I don't care. You said next year.
You are not laughing now.
You said next year.
See, next episode, I will even laugh more because Arsenal will still lose the last game. It is sure. I'm sure I can put money on it. They will lose again.
Okay, more seriously actually. So I saw the news about oh god. I have some choice names to call her. So I like what you said earlier. So the Suella Breva something.
Honestly.
Yeah, so Suella Breva something, you know. Who I don't know why she's doing. No, again, you mentioned something earlier. You know, they choose the worst of us.
Yeah, that's what I sorry to interrupt. I've always thought about this thing. You know, back in the day, we used to say, "Oh, all these governments, they don't care about minorities. You know, they're always harsh on us. They make policies and rules just to keep us, you know, like in a box or something." But
so after
I think
Patel,
they caught onto it,
yeah.
and now what they are doing is they have finally managed to find a way of finding the worst minority to put as figurehead in these positions, so that you guys will not turn around and say, "Well, these white people are treating us in a bad way." Why? Because they put somebody that looks like
you, yes,
in that position to all the whip.
So not only is she
I mean, think about it.
She's also a woman.
Look at all the memes, all the jokes, and everything people have said about Pretty Patel. How harsh, like how evil she seems to be, like in quotes. Now look at who they've replaced.
And then Riverman says, "Hold my beer,"
you know. So I don't really see where. Although we expected this many episodes. I mean, a few episodes ago we talked about we glossed on this, and I said, look, all these people that are letting into the country now, all the students, bring your family in scheme, the care worker route, and all these things. These people know what they are doing. For them, they are not trying to improve on immigration. What they are trying to do is make money. The beginning and end for these guys is a business.
It's money, yeah.
It's a business to them. I mean, look at this. Chinese alone, from China alone, they brought in over 100,000 students from China alone. Think about the thousands and thousands of people that have come from Africa through this care worker route. Now, they let all these people in, knowing fully well that they'll put a clamp on things at some point. It's not even been 2 years. It's not even a year. It's not even a year. We were talking about this last year, September.
Yeah, but can we do a bit of a deep dive? So the question I want to ask is, if you make this decision to put a halt to people coming in, and the problem is they're coming in with their families, but we're talking about people who've literally paid the price to be here. You know, on the one hand. On the other hand, they actually have to go out and work, and then they're going to pay tax, right? What exactly is the problem with having these people come in with their families?
Oh yeah.
Are you suggesting that because our facilities are not able to, you know, but here again, you have the situation where after Brexit, loads of people have gone back to Europe, which is the reason why you are short-staffed already in the first instance. So, in my opinion, you're basically replacing the people who've left with other people. So why then is it a problem for these people to bring their families? I don't get it.
For you to fully get the full picture of what's going on, I feel like you have to try to see things from the perspective of these people.
These people being who?
Management, government.
Okay.
Yeah. And the way I see it is this. Like I said earlier, to them it's strictly business. Money making venture.
Okay.
So how do I make money from you if I just let you into my country, into my house, and you pay a fee,
a one-off,
and it ends there, and now you are free to bring in your family members? Now, obviously, you've paid this fee, you brought your family in. Now, it is my responsibility to provide for you what you've paid for, which is healthcare, which is good roads, which is jobs, which is security. Now, in the long run, is it a gain for me to collect this money from you and then allow you bring in God knows maybe 5, 6, 7 more people, one way or the other, into the country, into my home? Now I have to cater to you guys. At some point, I'm running a loss, which is what's happening. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is the fault of the people coming into the country. Because you've made this thing possible. You've offered them this option. They've chosen to sell, borrow, steal, beg to be able to come here. And for my lovely white people who think foreigners are the problem, what you don't understand is every single person that comes from the country of Africa into this country actually pay.
Africa is not a country.
No. To them. I'm playing their game. Right. Every person that has come from Africa, the continent, into this country actually has to pay to access NHS services that they now have to access through the nose. Ask anybody to get an appointment with your GP now is other than, like the Bible said, the donkey walking through a whatever.
Well, I heard just 2 days ago that to get a note from your doctor, you now have to pay.
Oh no,
£48.
That's not a new thing. The price just changed. That's always been a thing.
Yeah, I know. It was, I think 2 years ago or so. I can't remember how much
the price just changed. Wow. So, as a foreigner, you come in, you pay to access the NHS. The NHS service that you then get judged by the people, the British, that you are the one putting strain on their services. Services that you pay for. You see, before you come into your tax banding is different. So you pay to access roads, to access security. And then these same people turn around and judge you and blame you for putting a strain on these services, you see. So that's what people don't understand. So to them, it's a business. Let's let them in. Let's let them pay. I mean, look at all these students. Some of them pay as much as between 15 and 18,000 pounds. And they are only allowed to work 20 hours a week. So what strain are they putting on the workforce? You get what I'm saying now? So when they now say, okay, let me bring in my family, guess who's responsible for the family they are bringing in?
You, the individual.
There you go.
Of course.
The most important information.
Meanwhile, the other person you are bringing in is definitely working 40 hours plus.
There you go. So by them working, what does that tell us? They are putting money into the economy.
System, of course.
Okay. So now, excuse me. Here's the funny thing. What people need to understand. I'm going to say this and I'm going to repeat it twice. All of these people have no access to what? To public funds. They cannot lose their job and go on benefits. I'll repeat again. Everybody you see in this country that comes from outside of this country, that is not a British citizen, that wasn't born in this country, that did not obtain British citizenship,
paid for it.
They are paying for every single thing and they do not have access to public funds. So what are they now doing is, the care worker route, you are allowed to bring in your family members. The students route, you are allowed to bring in your family members. Okay. So if we collect between 15 to 18,000 that these people are pumping into our schools, if we collect for the care worker route, they are spending between, God knows, 10, 12,000 to obtain certificate of sponsorship here and there. If we collect all these monies are being pumped into the economy. Now, how can we make things better for ourselves? Let's strip them of the right to bring in their families. Do you know that they are slowly changing the rules? The first thing they did was, before, as a student, once you've come into this country, you can bring your family. Then, after your education, you can apply for a tier 2 or whatever they call it, where it guarantees you, So now what they've done is, as a student, once you finish your course, whatever course that is, if you do not pass,
you go back.
You are going back home. So if you like bring in 100 family members, you are all going back home. Now, even if you pass, you have to secure a job within 6 months of graduation. If you are not in a job within that 6 months, and not just any job, it's not that you will read a business management, you can take a cleaning job somewhere. If you do not get a job that has to do with the course you studied, within 6 months of graduation, you and the 3,000 people you have brought in are going back. So now on top of that now, we've seen in the newspaper as at this morning that says that immigration crackdown, most foreign students to be banned from moving their family into the UK in a major crackdown. So what does that tell you?
It doesn't mean a crackdown, please.
I mean,
as in when did you use that word?
Let me tell you what I learned quickly. Let me tell you, my 20 years plus in this country, the very first year, my first few lessons, and I think we talked about this last week, but it was off camera. Just a good segue, First thing I learned is when a white man looks at you and says those two words, I'm afraid. Just know it can never be anything. You can never be associated with anything good. If you are expecting something from them, say you've made an application for something, and then you've gone to hear the results, and they start with, it doesn't matter if they are smiling, it doesn't matter if they are doing cartwheels. As long as they start with, I'm afraid, nothing good is going to come from it. If you hear any news and they say in a crackdown, nothing good is going to come from it. You see? So when I saw crackdown, it means like you know when they behead somebody,
I need to check the
crackdown is like sudden, it's like a sudden and harsh. A sudden and harsh decision that has to be taken as soon as possible.
It's a series of severe measures to restrict undesirable. So this is my thing, right? Crackdown. So people come here, they pay good money. Like you literally open up your doors
and now they are seen as undesirable.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, that is the British way.
I know.
That is the British way. You cannot sugarcoat shit, it is still shit.
But of course, there's no racism in Britain.
See, moving on, Jare, to something a bit more, just slightly more concerning. I was watching a series of videos on social media, on Instagram, and then I saw this news that they're calling the godfather of artificial intelligence, Geoffrey Hinton, and it was voicing his concerns because he created this, or it was part of the creation of AI, and he was voicing his concerns about the dangers of artificial intelligence. He left Google because he didn't want to, contradict himself. He had to leave to be able to say, I'm actually worried that this thing we've created might, in the future, in the very near future, become more bad than good. Because you know how it is when something comes out and everybody, we all have access to these things. It gets in the wrong hands, just like the movies. And I started, looking into this stuff and just, trying to understand more about artificial intelligence. And then I came across full songs online. I don't know if you've come across these things, where Michael Jackson was rapping to 50 Cent's Many Men. And they can just put anybody's voice on anything, And I started thinking of the possibilities because I try to think as a glass full kind of person.
Right.
But no matter how glass full kind of person you are, you have to look at the cons too. And I just want us to talk about what do we think are the possibilities, the pros and the cons of artificial intelligence? Because already we are seeing things happening right before us where, as an example now, if you use a music sample without authorization, you can get sued. And royalties can get taken off of you and directed to the owner of the original song.
So you can pay a huge lump sum.
So now, what's the way forward with artificial intelligence? Like,
so unfortunately, I don't have an opinion. And I say that because look, the thing is, with conversations such as that, it's difficult. And when I say it's difficult, what I mean by that is, what am I as a layman going to do? So this gentleman who's the godfather creates something, jumpstarts a process. Also, before I actually go down that rabbit hole, I have noticed that for anything that is introduced to for public consumption, right? You've probably seen it in the movies 20 years ago. So do you know why? It means that these things have been in play.
That's the thing. You're right. Those things have been in play, but not released to the general public.
There you go.
And they've just been in play. Look at all the things we've been using now. How can you not say that AI? If you look at all the football games that they release, you always see on the park, the control. Okay, if you play FIFA now, and you are playing against the computer, we in layman's terms we say we're playing with the computer. But in essence, in reality you're playing against the AI. That is what it says on the game pack itself. Yeah. So AI has always been in most facets of what we do in life.
Yeah, but AI as it is, okay, so for instance,
the worrying thing, what I thought you wanted to say.
You know that dog thing that the police in, I think, New York is going to actually, today was on Black.
Oh yes, of course.
What was it now?
It's been in some movies.
What's that Netflix series?
Oh yeah, Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Yeah, of course.
That's exactly
of course.
Which is why, for me, end of the day, they've actually produced this thing. It's probably gone to the military in America or whatever. They've used it, then they've made a decision, okay, you know what, we're not ready to put it out there for public consumption.
Also, let me call your attention to something. There was an interview that Sky sent both of us for us to watch.
Yeah.
And you remember in that interview, the guy was saying that when they created artificial intelligence, what they were using it for then was the projection was that, okay, in maybe 20 years, this thing would have advanced itself to the point where it can actually carry out outrageous things, beautiful things in the hands of the right people. But they are concerned, they now began to get concerned when they realized that, the growth that AI was meant to have, the growth that it would have taken it 20 years to attain, it's not actually achieved that in 4 years. So they are now like, this thing is more or less like it's like evolving itself without anyone's interference, which is where the concern is. I mean, now, if you think about it, personally, I did not want to get involved in any of this because I watched iRobots, Will Smith.
There you go.
Do you know that when they did that movie back in the day, now there's a I've seen adverts that says that people can actually people can buy artificial wife, intelligent wife, robots, just like the iRobots. That we have everything, you know.
No, is that robot wife thing?
Yes.
No, it's a lie.
No.
I checked.
You know what? I was reading that yesterday. Do you know that the one that I have seen, AI, where men can wear what is this thing? VR, and you can experience sexual satisfaction.
Oh yeah, that's it.
So you see what you're saying. So you see what you're saying now. And again, if you look at all these Tesla cars, most people are sort of shying away from buying those things now because there's been reports of those cars actually doing things that they were not programmed to do. You see, so the concern here is the more we get into AI. I mean, I tried to stay away from it. It was my own wife that introduced me to it. You know, because I'm the kind of person when I am in a certain mode and I'm typing, one thing I do to avoid saying things, passing messages that I shouldn't when I'm angry or when I'm in a kind of ways, I'll draft the email and then I save it in my draft. So that when I'm cooled off, then I read it. And I realize that, wow.
You're having an out-of-body experience.
This organization would have bounced to the ground, So, what I now realized is, when I set up the old chat GPT thing.
GBT?
Yeah. I said,
GBT.
That was what I said. I said chat GPT or chat GBT, So when I set the whole thing up, I would draft a very long ass email and then I put it in the thing. And when it summarizes it, and I read the 4, 5, 6 lines that it has, it has created from my 40, 50 lines. And I look at myself and I think, why did I think of doing it this way? This thing is so good at, and then I just use it to summarize emails, and then when it comes up with what you've done, and it's really quite impressive. I think that AI can be used for a lot of good. Let's be honest with ourselves.
I mean, like everything else.
But when you think of the fact that somebody can call your child and use your voice, because apparently all they need is 3 seconds of your voice. That's all AI needs. Just 3 seconds of any sound coming from you, and from that 3 seconds, it can generate
the whole conversation.
Yes. So when you realize that in the hands of the wrong people, they can take your voice. And see, it's part of what we are still saying.
Which one?
It's part of what that's why, So they can take your voice and then ring your partner or ring your child and say, this is me, I'm kind of stuck somewhere. Can you quickly send me £500 or whatever? Or
and when you think about this,
yeah.
God,
It's crazy.
So
it's scary to the point.
Last week, so I'm in a group. I'm doing a training, right? So someone calls me on WhatsApp and says, "Oh, so person. I can't remember what name he said because it didn't mean anything to me. But I'm so person from this group. Okay, so I'm familiar with the group. Yeah. What do you need?" Says, "We have a meeting at 8 o'clock this evening. You know, to do some homework or whatever." I'm like, I haven't been in this group. So I'm thinking to myself, I haven't been in the group for 3-4 weeks. Why is anybody calling me about a meeting? I said, okay, you know what, no problem, and I hung up. Then he immediately generated a code and sent the code to me.
That's what they do.
Now,
They want to act
if I wasn't paying attention,
you would just have
absent-mindedly
just.
But you know what? I figured, oh, this must be one of those scams.
Yes, of course.
So as I hung up, I was thinking, oh, it must be one of those scams, and then the code came up, so I knew immediately, oh, this is definitely one of those scams. Now, I went to the group, and there were people who had actually accepted the code.
Yeah,
that is the most basic of things. How much more you now have phone call conversations?
But I will say this though. I think for those of us that grew up in Nigeria, you know, where allegedly there's a very high level of scam going on. You know, it's very hard unless you want to be a hypocrite. You can say you've never done scam in your life. I haven't. But it's very hard for you to have not, you know.
Someone's choking in the back.
You know, what I'm trying to say is, even if you've never done scam in your life, it's very hard for you to not know someone that does it. You get what I'm saying? So,
professionally.
Yeah, so that thing gives us this kind of street cred in a way where, you know, like I don't do scam, but I know people that have done it, and they're always the ones that warn me that, if you see this thing, don't click on it. If you see this kind of website, you know, that kind of thing, and then I look out for those things, you know. And I think because of that, in a part of it has become a second part of
second nature, really.
Where, like with WhatsApp now, if you don't want them to hack your WhatsApp, all you have to do is set up a 2-factor authentication thing. I am a walking 2-factor authentication. I have a friend that will be laughing now. If she hears this, she's going to laugh, because when we talk on WhatsApp, sometimes I want to be sure
that you're speaking with the right person.
Yeah. So I'll just throw a question. The last meeting we had, who was sneezing uncontrollably? There's no way scammer is going to know that.
Yeah.
There's no way AI, if you form my voice more than that, it is still a human being that is using, you know, that is typing the thing that the AI will say. You get what I'm saying? And think about it. I was getting worried that somebody can actually ring my kids' school and say, oh, today I won't be picking the kids. I'll be sending this person. Just look for a red cap. He's going to wear blue, black, and he's going to. You get what I'm saying? That please let him pick the kids.
Why do you need to have this conversation with us?
No, that is what I'm saying. But here is the thing. That is why schools have passwords. That is why they have passwords. So no matter how bad things get, I think one way or the other, humans will always be one step ahead of AI.
No,
that's why I
think so.
AI can cause a lot of damage in the wrong hands, you know. But we know there are a lot of dodgy people out there. But what I'm saying is, everywhere you go, the people just have to be a bit more serious, a bit more self-conscious. You see, there are friends that
just pay a bit more attention.
Yeah, because of all this scamming thing, there are times that, okay, like a Nigerian number messaged me and said, oh, this is from auntie something, and I thought, oh, this person knows my aunt, big aunt Shola, and I said, oh, okay. And I said, well, respectfully, I want to ask you 3 questions before we can further this conversation, just to be sure that who you are.
Yeah, who you say you are.
Okay. And he said, fine. And then I started throwing questions in there. I said, well, at my mom's burial ceremony, this happened. What was this? Couldn't come up with, it's been a while. I forgot. I said, that's perfectly fine. If who you are who you claim you are, what year did Anshola's husband pass away? Couldn't give me the answer. I said, last question. There's a birthmark on my mom's face. What side of my face? Did she have a birthmark? Couldn't answer that question. I said, you know what? I will actually give you 2 more tries. So when they couldn't answer the question, on the 5th question, you got frustrated. You called me a bastard. So I just called the phone and I blocked the number. So no matter how evolved, unless AI can now guess the password that I verbally set up with my children's school, or guess, that's why when you call your bank, they say they ask you security questions. That is where, for me, that is where we need to have a chat. Because if you think about it, the security questions that you set up with your bank, those questions are flimsy. Where were you born? What's your mother's maiden name?
Oh, have you seen on Twitter?
People can generate these things.
Wait now, just yesterday or 2 days ago. You know those people that tweet, what's stuff like, I can't remember what now, but anyway, one of them did that. Mother's names. Mother's maiden name. I'll go first.
And idiots don't know that they are literally harvesting your information to use later. That's because you know why? Sometimes even I have done it, and I'll tell you why. How long have you had any reason to call your bank? It's been long for most people. Like me now, I can't remember the last time I spoke to them. And what happens is you just click on your internet app. And you just use your facial recognition, and you just do transactions until you get stuck. And then and what happened was, I went to buy petrol, paid for it, left my card there. I had driven off, then I remember shit. My card is in that place. So I turned back, went there, the guy gave the card to me. But I told myself, come on now, all it needs is 5 seconds to take the picture of the front and the back, and then it's go time. So when I took back the card from him, I then ran my bank. I wanted to get them to block. I did not know that it was something I could do on my app. Because I never had reason to do that. But when I rang them and they started asking me the security questions, guess what? I forgot him. Because I set those things up like ages ago. The same back I've been using is what I've been using since I stepped foot in this country. So I couldn't remember. But guess what? They let me go because I remembered one. Which was the easiest to remember, my mom's maiden name. Right. So those people that are asking online, mom's maiden name, that is all they probably need. Because I told the guy I was speaking on, I said, look, I will remember this one. But believe me, I've forgotten. All this one you are asking me. Because when I set up that thing, they said make it as intricate as possible. So I was doing it, not knowing I was doing myself. So when they were now asking me those, I was like,
you can't remember.
You know? So I couldn't really, because they were asking me, because one of the questions apparently I put in when I set up the thing was, what street did you grow up in before you relocated to Nigeria with your mom? I forgot it. I kept saying Lambert, bro. But I just, but one way or the other, they let me, because they looked at that account and thought, you know what? It's been using the account for so long. So it's never had issues, no dodgy, nothing looks dodgy on this account. So we will set you up with another one. But now setting me up with another one now still makes it real, because when they asked, I said, look, favorite football club, to make it easier on myself, so that in maybe 5 years time I won't have to scratch my head. This is something that will come to me. Well, guess what? When scammers want to guess, those are the things they will look. You get what I'm saying? They'll be like, he's always shouting, he's on my Twitter there. Chelsea fans, that is something plug, he's on there.
That's easy.
So if they have your mother's within him, they have your football club. They have passed 2 out of 3 security questions, they let them in. So you see what I'm saying? So I'm thinking the more AI evolves, the more humans will, the more we will always set up, like no matter what they do now, if you have 2-factor authentication, it's very hard when they try to get into your account and they send a text message to you. So they will not get the text message. You are the one
because you are the one who holds the number.
So you get what I'm saying? So like if I want to log in on my work stuff now, as soon as I open my email, if you ask my email account, you'll be doing it yourself. Because if I put my email, before it asks me for my password, it will ask me for a 6-digit code. And for me to generate that, I click something on my stuff, it sends the 6-digit code to my phone number that I then input. Unless you physically have my phone. Or they clone my phone. Which is another thing. I think it's just do you even know what some people do to make money in this country? Millions. Do you know how I found that? You know when you cross the Dartford crossing or any toll area in this country, you have to go online to pay your Dartford crossing charge, and you have to pay it within 24 hours. What some people now say is they will now clone that side.
Jesus Christ.
You cannot look. There's a BBC documentary on
Jesus
this that I watched, and they put the sides side by side. The people, you know what they did? They went to interview some of the IT guys that set up the government issued one,
Jesus.
and they themselves couldn't tell apart theirs from
From
scammers. Same color font,
Jesus.
same everything. The difference would be one dot. The difference would be just one dot. Or underscore where some is up at this. You won't know. And you'll be paying your that
You
charge.
don't really pay attention.
They'll be harvesting your card details. You are paying those £2.50, £2.50, £5 that people are paying. Imagine the number
All
of
the
people.
cars.
These people are making millions.
Jesus.
And then when they did the undercover investigation and this, guess what? They weren't even in this country. And they are saying that there are lots of government issued, what do you call it? Home office websites cloned. Any government issued website where you have to pay money,
There's a clone.
they cloned it. And they will look alike down to the T. I always laugh when people think Nigerians are big scammers. We are not. Because when you trace all these things, they always trace them to Asia. Somewhere. Do you know the most scams that Nigerians do? They send you an email.
The prince.
As you open the email, you can tell that this is not official.
Of course, no.
Because the language, the grammar
Of course, no.
is from somebody sitting somewhere in Amoko, somewhere. You can tell. You say HSBC will not use this grammar. Lois Bank will not email me and it's doing. You get what I'm saying? So there's this guy on TikTok. What he does is he's a tech guy. This guy is so good. He looks for scammers that scam people. And then he will actually make sure that he hacks their own system. And he will be using their, what's it called? The camera in front of your laptop or computer, whatever. He will be using their camera to see into their homes or their offices where this camera is being there, and he will record their face and everything. He will now ring them up to say, I know that you are number 23 something in India. I will now send them a picture of their or a video of themselves, and you will see these guys all scrambling to run out of the place. And he posts all these things on TikTok. It's so funny to see. You know, these people are harder. They work harder than the devil. So you guys, you always have to be. Well, I just think that no matter what we do, we can't stop this. We cannot stop. AI is here to stay. It is you that will know how to conduct your movement,
how to protect yourself,
and your family. Because look at kids these days. They are average 7 to 9 years old. They already have an iPhone. So they will be the most vulnerable and the easy targets. Because if you hear your dad's voice saying, don't easy. I mean, every time I go to pick my kids, there are some kids that they go home themselves. They just walk home. Maybe they live 20, 30 minutes. So their parents can easily say, oh, you know what? I'm sending a friend of mine. He's a very good friend of mine. Don't worry, I know you've never met him before. But he's a good friend of mine. You are hearing your dad's voice. There is no reason for you not to listen to what your parents is telling you. So go with him. You know, it's going to bring you to me. I'm in a very important meeting, but I can't come pick you today. Just follow that uncle. He's going to bring you a white car. His name is Brian. Just go with him. He's going to bring you to me. He's my associate or my assistant or whatever. You get into the car, you're gone.
I think I'm going to set up a two-factor.
So you get what I'm saying? So as you are setting up two-factor
I'm going to do that
authentication stuff with your WhatsApp, be setting up a real-life two-factor authentication with your children. If a stranger calls them and say, this is daddy, even if they hear your voice, just tell them to ask that person a question.
I'm going to do that with my kids.
Dad, what did I eat this morning?
I'm going to do that with my kids.
You get what I'm saying? Dad, what's your favorite? This. Dad, what's my favorite color? And if that person starts saying, I don't have time for that, cut the phone and stay in school. Get your teachers to ring your parents. You get what I'm saying? So we cannot just sit down and say, AI is going to cause it. No, we cannot stop it.
You have to be proactive.
We are literally living
because it is what it is, really.
This is a
it's
new
2013.
Yeah, this is the new world order. 2023. That matrix people like talking about, we are already in it.
Oh my goodness.
So it's on you to protect yourself and your family. I ask questions every time. You know this thing, I've been doing this thing for years and people have always laughed at me. Now, I'm not so crazy, am I now? And I know the people that I'm talking about, they know themselves. Because that's what I always used to do. Once you message me on WhatsApp, if you're one of my friends from Nigeria, slam me with a question. When we were in university, what did I do this day that I went to this party? If you cannot answer me,
because you want to know for sure.
I want to know that this is the person I'm talking to.
Okay.
Because they clone people's WhatsApp anyhow, and Nigerians are the most easiest. Because most of them, you just send them a video, they like watching videos and they will click it. You know? So, especially the elderly. My mother-in-law, once she messages me like this, I say, Mommy, last time I came to Nigeria, where did we go to? When we went to this place, to that place when I came to Nigeria, what happened? If you cannot answer me anything, it is essential. Because this thing is, I have heard people, you go on YouTube, go on TikTok, you will see what they are using AI to do. You can have full-on speech. As we are sitting here now, we can be at home. Okay? And they can use AI to put us here. And our voice, we will be having proper chats. And we will be they can do anything. I'm telling you, Michael Jackson was rapping. They were using Rihanna to sing one Nigerian person's song or something. You know, so the possibilities are endless. And I think it can do amazing things. But never forget, it can also cause a lot of
people. While we're talking about music.
So can we talk about Wande Coal? And I don't know why you just did that.
No, wait.
So Wande is an interesting conversation. Wande has been around. Wande is a veteran.
Yeah, you can call him that now.
Wande is a veteran.
Yeah.
Wande is a veteran. Like, I repeat this because it's mind-boggling for me. Wande is a veteran. Wande only has 3 albums. This is his 3rd album.
And we waited a long time for this one, I think.
And what's your take on the project?
For me, the way I see it is this: like, I came across a discussion and I felt disgusted on Twitter the other day. People were comparing Rema.
Oh, Rema with no.
To Wande Coal.
There's no universe
Rema,
where that happens.
Rema is more vocally this than that than Wande Coal. And I just switched off my phone.
Because
I didn't want to get involved in that discussion because I will cost somebody's parents. And I didn't want to do that, you see. I just thought this guy is literally in his own lane. Like, when you talk about Nigerian music scene, it's more or less like Wande Coal doesn't have like competition, more or less, when it comes to vocal, when it comes to vocally. You get what I'm saying? So we've been waiting and waiting and waiting.
You know, but so having said what you just said, I think that might be the problem. You know, the fact that he's Wande Coal, he's King Coal, you know, and he pretty much created the lane for your Whiskey and your Davido and apparently everybody else, you know, that toes that line. You know, I listened to the album, and while on the one hand, because of the relationships that I have within the industry, I find it difficult to be critical about.
That's where I come in.
You know.
That's where I come in.
Wait. So I find it difficult to be critical about certain things. I am not happy. I am not happy at all. Because knowing Wande the way I know Wande, you know, I always say Wande has more talent, you know, within his pinky than so many artists that are thriving out there.
So many.
You know, so for Wande to be where he is, and don't get me wrong, he's fine, I suppose. He's fine, you know, but he could be doing way better because as a performer, he's brilliant. Vocally, he's ridiculous. As a writer, he is, I mean, Wande is more hits. You know, what more hits was, I mean, yes, there was Don Jazzy, the producer, but Wande was more hits. You know, so you can't be that person and be giving us this.
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble, and I don't want to be in big trouble.
To be honest, it's not like the album is bad. I won't say it's bad, you know. It's like when you send your kids to school and you give them private tutoring. You send them to private school, and then when they do exam, they sit for an exam and they come home with a result and they are getting 60 over 100. You'll be like, it's not like you failed technically, but I expected more based on, you know, the opportunities I feel that you have. For me, the first thing I saw was T-Pain on T-Pain's page, because on one of the songs there, Streets, it features T-Pain. And T-Pain being T-Pain. We can more or less say Wande Coal is the T-Pain of Nigeria.
Yeah,
Because
I
when
I
T-Pain,
hate those.
I know, but
I hate that African
it's not that. It's just to
I
put
don't-
things.
you know,
It's to put things in
perspective.
perspective.
I understand that, of
for
course.
the just average music listener who is not really into Wande Coal or know him that well. You know, when T-Pain was in his bag, the whole world. I mean, I was watching a Lil Wayne interview recently, and the way was saying that there was a time where you could put on the radio. You could even put it to like cowboy stations, and there'll be a T-Pain song there. Like it was the person everybody wanted to feature. At a point in time, he had more than 30 songs on rotation, features. You know, so T-Pain on his page was played a 30-second
clip.
of that song, The Streets, and my God, I think I must have played that thing like probably 20-30 times. It was so good. But when the album came out, the first song I went to was that Streets.
Was this song?
Because I wanted to quickly put it in my playlist. And I realized that T-Pain only played his own
Bits.
beats of the song. When the full song, when I sat and I listened to the full song, I was like,
It was underwhelming.
is this not the same song? I will hear it again. So I played like 3-4 times and I'm like, wow, what's going on? Then I gave the album 3-4 listens in a day. Second day I listened to it twice again. Then every time I would listen to it in my car on my way to work or back from when I thought, this is not one.
You know what? Just to close up that conversation from my end, right? I would say you cannot name your project legend or no legend,
And you give that.
and then put that project.
Yeah. The album is not bad, but when you talk of Wande Coal levels,
Legend or no legend, and then
I have a perspective about artists and all that because I'm a lover of music, Nigerian music, and music generally. I feel like we expect too much from this artist. Okay, it's been a long time we got an album from Wande Coal, right? But you gotta understand that these guys, 90% of them, they didn't go to school to understand stardom, celebrity. You know, the
that does not even that has nothing to do with this conversation.
I'm just saying that most of them, they just found themselves being a superstar, no preparation to manage that stardom.
What has that got to do with releasing music?
They have no preparation to. So when they take an hiatus, a break, like Wande Coal has done in a while, they do such things to recuperate. Now, when they come back, most people, including Rugged Man, who I like so much, what they do is when they come back like that, they want to come back with their sound, not commercial sound, because they believe that they already have a fan base, and who like them will like them, who don't like them can not fuck with them. You get it? You understand? So they come back with their wait. I'm trying to make a point here. You understand? They come back with their sound for their fans. Someone in case Eva, you know Eva, Niger, Eva, Alodia. You understand? I love what she does. She doesn't sell whatever, but guess what? When she drops her stuff, she has a close circle that she releases it to.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay, let me.
When they come with their sound, I think we need to respect that. You understand? If you don't like it, just move on to the next album.
But here's where you are wrong.
Don't judge them. Don't expect too much from them.
But wait, here's where you are wrong.
Do you know what? You get what I'm saying?
Wait.
I hear you.
Here's where you are wrong.
Unfortunately, I don't agree.
Yeah, let me quickly come in, Bayo, Novel. Let me quickly come in. Here is where you are wrong.
Okay.
From where I'm sitting. First things first. You said you took a long break. Wande Coal took a break from releasing albums. Wande Coal never took a break from releasing music. I can count 15-20 features he has done in the past 2 years that have been bangers. At least 80% of them have been bangers, straight bangers. So Wande Coal never took a break from music. So it's a different case from saying, oh, this person, we've not heard anything from him in 2-3 years. He's now coming out with this new sound. Secondly, for you to say, oh, you can't judge them, you can't do this, I am selling a product. Irrespective of what stardom they have. What they put out in music is a product, which we, the fans, will buy. Whether you are streaming it, whether you are purchasing the hard disk, you are paying your hard-earned money. From the point where money is exchanging hands for that your product, believe me, I have a right to judge you based on what I expect. People buy Tesla cars because they expect the cars to be able to drive itself, to be able to self-park. You get what I'm saying? So if I pay that much money for a Tesla car and I'm having trouble parking and I've set the thing for the car to park itself and the car too is having trouble parking and you're telling me I cannot come online and say, like say Elon Musk the craze, you're wrong, fam. So we as fans, we as music lovers, we as music critics, we have every right in the world to judge them. Once you are putting out a product to people, this podcast we are doing now, we just said it, didn't we? That I went on the video, the short clip we posted for the last episode, and I could see some people they were sharing their opinions, which is fine. Because I was going to blast one of them, but I thought, come on now, you chose to put this out. Once you put something out there, you are asking for people's opinion, whether you like it or not. So, one, he never left music. And all the songs he has been releasing has always been Wande Coal. You get. So, for him to now release this album, and it's a bit, for me, not Wande Coal level of, I mean, it's an okay album, I'll say.
So the one thing I will agree with you as far as this project is concerned, well, maybe not as far as the project. The one thing I would agree with you on is a lot of people come into the game without necessarily knowing what they are getting into. So I had a conversation with Wande, 10 plus years ago. And there's something he said that still strikes me as, wow, till today. He said all he wanted to do was be a dancer. That's all he wanted. Wande was on Why Me. He was a dancer on Why Me. So to go from that to mushing to more hits was a huge, shock even for him.
They are not prepared for that thing.
But since when?
Exactly.
Since when has it been comfortable?
That's been
Why you dey talk like
over
this?
10 years.
Since when
Over 10
has
years.
he relaxed into
I mean,
that
think
room?
about it.
Stardom is
Wait.
crazy.
No, so what you need to understand is this, right? The main problem with people like Wande is management. It's nothing else. It's management. If you have good management. So the challenge, I was having a conversation with you in the car on the way here, where we spoke about Lil Kesh, right? As a talent, your job is to be a talent, right? You need other people to handle all of the other things.
Other things, yeah.
That's why if you go to a hospital, for instance, there's a matron, there's a head of this, head of that, there's someone doing admin. Nobody's going to say, with admin, all you have to do is write people's names down. Any idiot can do that. Nobody's going to say that. You hire people to fill, specific roles. And that's what the talent has to do. So there were, maybe years ago, I used to write and I would say stuff about talent and say, but I changed because I realized, end of the day, on the one hand, they don't know better. I still feel that if you are going to do this for a living, you need to educate yourself. Having said that, I don't think that you necessarily need to know everything across the chain line. I think you need to know to hire people to handle those things. So yes, you need a lawyer, you need a PR person, you need a manager, you need A&R, you need a
publicist.
So you need a manager, but you also need someone you can send around. You understand what I'm saying? So you need to cover a runner, yes.
Assistant manager, let's put it.
So you need to cover all of those gaps. So that end of the day, all you have to worry about is the music itself. Now, even with the music itself, if you have a good manager, your manager will know what your strengths are. So if your strength is writing, right? The manager gets a producer that actually knows, how to level up with you. If you can't write, then the manager will get a writer. Thankfully these days in Nigeria, they actually have writing rooms, so you want to put out your album, they bring writers together. Everybody sits down in the room with the producers and they start writing. Because we are no longer catering to ourselves. We are catering to the rest of the world. So once you put out a project and you call it legend or no legend, it has, because you are not just some random person. You are Wande, for God's sake. And I didn't want to say all of this, but here I am.
But
you are Wande, for God's sake.
But it's the truth. That album is underwhelming.
You are Wande.
As far as Wande
Here's
Coal
the thing.
is
He
concerned.
was freestyling.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing.
Yep.
He was freestyling. Now, if you are Jay-Z or you are Lil Wayne, and you freestyled entire projects, and you are doing it at an elite level, by all means, freestyle. But if you are freestyling and it's just mere, and end of the day, what it is,
When you finish.
okay, what it is it's basically a placeholder. Then if you're going to put out your album, make sure you've
Make
taken
sure you
care of
actually
it.
have songs.
You understand what I'm saying? Don't release a demo as an
Should we
album.
cut?
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
so
go on.
I just have another, sorry guys for I'm chipping behind the camera, but basically, okay, let me ask you this question now. In 2023, you understand? Femi has already told me why, if you're delivering a product and you expect to be paid for it, why, people have the right to demand quality. But this one I want to ask. An artist, a different kind of product. I mean, music is a different kind of product. Are artists in 2023, do you feel like they still have a right to say, you know what, I just want to document my music. I don't care if, wait.
I'm
I
not
don't
saying
care if
anything.
you buy it or not. But this one, I just want it to be on the record that I spat or I spoke or I wrote this song. I just want it to be on record. Whether you fuck with it and making money, that's not the end point.
That's not what it is for me. You know what?
understand? Because the
So
reason why I ask is this.
go on.
Exhibit. He released a lockdown album. I didn't even know because it was not publicized, and Afrobeat was gaining,
Traction.
momentum. So I didn't even know. Then I found the album about 4 months ago. I'm like, fucking hell. How do I know I have? These are people that I fuck with, that I love. You understand? But the album was not promoted as if it was to make money. So my point is this: people like Wande Coal again. I feel like they've earned the right.
I have a question for you to counter what you are saying.
Let me jump in real
Do
quick.
you think Wande Coal released that
Sorry,
album
one
to make
second.
money?
Oh, wait now. Sorry, one second. So first of all,
We would have to ask him down.
First of all, regardless of what Exhibit, if Exhibit says he put out the project because it's a passion project
No,
or
he
whatever,
said that. I'm just saying
Uh-huh.
it wasn't promoted.
but
live.
if he said that, he would be lying, right?
Everybody wants
There's
to-
a big difference between when you work with a major label and when you are independent. I'm sure that what happened with Exhibit's album, I'm just hearing now that Exhibit released an album. I'm sure what happened is it's an independent album. Independent albums will only go so far, even if you're Exhibit, especially because Exhibit hasn't done MTV, Peep My Ride in a long time. So he hasn't been in the limelight. Nobody knows nobody knows. Nobody cares. Snoop, who's out there, who's Uncle Snoop, who's a huge, international artist, put out 2 albums last year. I doubt that they made a dent. Oh, and he's also done albums with them, WC and Ice Cube and stuff. So he must have about 5 albums in the past 1 year. And nobody really cares. The bottom line is this. First of all, like he said, there's no artist. Okay, maybe I'm lying. I'm sure there are some people who will say, oh, you know what? So Mos Def actually said that about, look, don't bother me. This is my art. I'll put out whenever I want.
Talib Kweli, the same
Him
thing.
and Talib. I'll put out whenever I want. Don't ask me. Don't bother me. And as a matter of fact, the last album they put out together as Black Star is on a small platform somewhere. It's not on any of the major streaming services. I'm a huge Black Star fan, and I can't access it. I'm not going to sign up to Illusion just because of that. I'm not going to do that. I love them, but I'm not going to do that. But to go back to the reason why you brought this up, I can guarantee that on the one hand, Wande hasn't put this out because it's a passion project and he just wants to do whatever he wants to do. But number two, and more importantly, so this is what he wants to do. What is it? So what he's doing is freestyling. That's, is he having, are you having a laugh? Like, what's going on?
Say why meaning?
I feel like artists and music is a different kind of product. I feel like artists are still allowed to make a music for themselves without trying to let it be a fully monetized, like Davido's album.
This guy define excuse. That Wande Coal album is just underwhelming. The end.
Guaranteed. Nah, jam. You understand? But the marketing behind it tells you what they want to make money off it. You get?
What album don't want to make money off of it?
Not everybody, Eva. How many albums is Eva selling? Is she not okay?
Let me ask you a question. Again, Eva is my, so are you suggesting to me then that if Eva has a deal with Empire distributes music, do you think that she will not be happy for 1 million people to see her record?
Yeah, obviously.
So she's put out her stuff because you know what? This is what I can do all by myself. Here. If you hear it, fantastic. If you don't hear it, yeah, whatever.
Business.
If, however, Bayo shows up and says, you know what? I like your project. I think it deserves to be heard by more people. She will not say no. So this is a question of access. There is no artist. And when I say artist, I don't mean just musicians. Even us. So are you suggesting to me, look at this. When you started the podcast, you wanted to do it, just so you can have an outlet. Now, if you have an opportunity for this same podcast to reach 100,000 people in 2-3 days,
I'm dropping Femi.
you will take it. You will take it immediately. Because at the end of the day, this is your art. The whole point behind putting out art is for people to engage with the art. You know what? I was a writer. I was a writer, right? I was a writer. And
move on from where you open this door. You now want to close it. I better continue.
I was a writer, right? And supposedly I was a pretty decent writer, right?
Okay. Songwriter, by the way, sorry.
I wrote not songwriting, just so I wrote an article, 2015, and that's the last serious article I wrote. I've always been, a private person, right? I wrote this article, I sent it to one media house, another media house. I think I must have sent it to 2 or 3 media houses. Then it took off. And it actually broke the internet at the time. And I had people cursing me on, I published the article on Twitter. But people went to my Facebook and went to, to my Instagram and, and they were cursing me. I'm like, I don't need this. So I wanted more, I wanted a lot of people to see what I wrote. But
you didn't expect the reaction.
You understand? I don't necessarily need all of this cursing. And it doesn't bother me, but it bothers me. And that's what I'm saying. So I might say, you know what, I don't care. But I care. But I care because I'm an artist. And as an artist, you just want to be judged based on your art. And you don't want 3 people to judge you.
I like where you are coming with. So whether as a passion project, whether as a money-making project, he has released that. People agree. That project, as far as Wande Coal, that name is concerned, I wouldn't have cared if it was maybe Portable that released it or whatever. As far as Wande Coal, people were expecting, nah. I won't lie for you. That album, for me, gets 5.5 over 10. At best, that's what it gets. Moving on, I have a question. What are things you feel that partners should never share? Things you wouldn't share with your partner. And I'll go first. Because people have argued. Me, as I did like this, no matter how much I love you, even if my ex sees this today, I know she won't mind. Because back then, when I was in uni, my girlfriend at that time will come, stay overnight and stuff like that. And in the morning she'll be like, oh, I forgot my toothbrush. Grab my brush and start using it. And I used to think, how could you feel comfortable sticking somebody's toothbrush? Although some people's argument is like,
well,
somebody you have had sex with, somebody that has put this thing in her mouth, somebody that you have put your mouth in her kidney. Are you not telling me that brush is where you draw the line? You are spitting each other's mouth. You have exchanged saliva.
Yes, if you can lick. Come on.
You have exchanged saliva and all that stuff. So toothbrush is where you draw the line.
What if I never leak?
I beg go and sit down. We all know you're a professional licker. You know? So the issue for me is, I think it's just the act itself of me knowing that this is something that I don't know, clean my mouth with. And you're sticking it in your mouth, So back then, I would wait for her to leave. And without her knowing, I would throw my brush away and get another one. Then, over time, I used to make sure that extra toothbrushes are in the house, So what are things that, I know you initially thought that, oh, this is about things you can say to your wife or not. The very first lesson I learned in marriage, is that never ever hide anything from your wife. And at the same time, never tell your wife everything. You have to find how you will be wise enough to decode that on your own. So what do you think? What do you see?
I mean, so you know what? I think first of all, I share everything with my wife. Of course, I will lie if a lot of lie here, so that if my wife watches this, she doesn't know where the lie is and where the truth is. So I tell her everything. And I share everything. And I share everything with her.
I will personally send a shot. I will get Sky to do shot. I will send it to her. Let her see.
Okay, more seriously, right? I don't do a lot of sound bites, right? I do what works, for me and for my relationship. So I don't say, just because they say, you can't do, I don't care much about those things. I try to have a conversation with my wife. If I feel strongly about something, I say, look, I feel strongly about this.
Yeah.
If I don't care, which generally I don't care, then it doesn't really matter. You understand what I'm saying? Having said that, I'm pretty sure I've used her toothbrush before. I'm pretty sure. And if you can use someone's toothbrush.
See, the thing for me is, I mean, like I said earlier, you've exchanged saliva. You've done everything together. But for me,
matter of fact, I think when that happened, she hated it. But just like you said, if you've exchanged bodily fluids, what's all this stuff about? And I know that doctors will probably say,
Excuse sir.
Shut up.
If you have farted in your wife's presence before and she has farted in your presence, I will do brushes.
I mean, toothbrush.
Sorry, but that's just. Sorry, I'm sorry, but that's just me. Okay? That's just me. I can't share toothbrush.
No, I only say that
I won't share toothbrush. I can't. For me, it's just the act. It's the act itself of no, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't.
I mean, too many acts have gone under the BBH, so it doesn't. I mean, toothbrush.
Speaking of relationships, since we don't want to delve deeply into this one, I see that people don't really want to say what's on their mind. It's fine. I don't know if you follow this. There's this Netflix series called Young, Rich and African, I think.
Oh, I've been watching it too.
Yep, and I really enjoyed the first season.
Yeah.
I kind of watched it as a every now and then I pick on trash TV to watch, just to it's true. I call it. So see, any fun? No.
So person that watch it, who are they?
Don't get me wrong. Anything reality TV for me, I put it in the box of trash TV. When I say trash TV, I don't mean it's not good. I mean, look at the budget for that show. Oh. They really went all the way out to create that.
The budget is steep.
So it doesn't mean that it is trash. But for me, it's something I don't take seriously. It's more or less like a guilty pleasure kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. So I enjoyed the first season, but the new one is out now, and I think people have been sharing these clips of the legendary Two-Face Idibia, one of Nigeria's veteran musicians. and he's on there with his wife and Macaulay, and I think they were at this gathering, or maybe they were having dinner or something.
Yeah, it was dinner.
Yeah, and Two-Face said something. I not in his exact words, but basically what he was saying was that it's quite possible for a man to love you, and then, sort of fall into lust with someone else, have sex with them, and there's no feelings, nothing involved, and people were like, attacking him. That why would he say that in front of his wife? Blah blah blah. Yes, maybe. He shouldn't have said that with his wife sitting there in front of other people, because more or less people would think, he's sort of belittling his wife, like. But what he said exactly, I personally don't think, is far from the truth, though.
I mean, so I want to tie this to the very last conversation we had, right? While, if you and your wife are at home talking, you can say stuff like that to her, right? Because, I mean, that's your wife. That's the person you are in this journey with. And you'll expect for her to understand that, look, it doesn't necessarily mean that
I'm doing
that,
or I'm going to do it.
It just is what
but
it is.
It's the truth. When you look at our society today.
But I don't think he should have done that in gathering for something that people are going to consume. Having said that,
yeah, what I want you to talk about is what he said.
Wait.
Is it far from the truth or not?
Wait. Having said that, I think based on the feedback from that conversation, Annie is going to go in for a third season, isn't she?
But she is at the
No. She's a crowd puller, though.
She is though.
Yeah.
She's a crowd puller. Whether that happened or not, she will have to be.
So she's going to go for a third season. That's another bag. Because end of the day,
that's not what the discussion now is. What Two-Face said.
Do
you agree with it?
It's a bare parlor conversation. It's not a conversation that I even now that I would have.
Women, I get it. What?
Yeah, but why?
What are you saying?
It's not a conversation that I
why?
would have.
We're just talking. Because I'll have it for you. Personally, I believe that your wife should know you well enough now. I mean, how long have you been married?
That's true.
13 years.
There you go. I've been married for 12 years. I believe your wife should know you by now what you would do, I wouldn't do. Right? My wife knows by now that I will not step outside. You get what I'm saying? So having this conversation doesn't mean that I'm going to do it or that I'm doing it. But the fact of the matter is, if you look around you, I don't think Two-Face is far from the truth, in the sense that. But what I would just say is, I think it is easier for men to be in love with two people at the same time, or to be in love with one person. No, I'll give you a chance to talk. To be in love with one person and then be sexually attracted to someone else. Women do it too, but I think men probably do it more. So
the thing is, when they say, "Oh, it's a man's world," so this goes back to what I said a few minutes ago about soundbites. We say it's a man's world, and we have no idea what women are doing. Women are doing things. Women are doing things. So the fact that we keep,
I'm telling you,
we stand on that pedestal and assume that we run things and
you they play.
So, which is the reason why I find it difficult to have these types of conversations, because the one thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to assume. I'm not jumping into conclusions. I only say things that I know for a fact. I don't pull numbers out of thin air.
But here's the thing. We're not basing this on statistics. We are basing this on things we see around us in the world. And I think from time immemorial, if you go back to history books, if you even look at the Bible, you can see that the stories on there are more stories, way more stories of men finding it normal.
But that's where the problem starts now. See, the problem starts with the Bible, right? The Bible only really talks about the men.
Yeah, that's true.
The Bible doesn't talk about the women.
Yeah, but okay, let's bring it down.
The one time the Bible talked about the women, the woman was a prostitute.
Yeah. No, there are lots of stories of women in the Bible, though, but just not enough. But what I'm
talking in relation to
to that. Yeah, that's true. But if you look at the world as it is, growing up, from when you were a kid till now, I mean, think about it. You've had friends all your life. You've observed people all your life. The truth of the matter is, yes, they say men lie, women lie. You get what I'm saying? I feel that like we said, I've seen this happen a lot. It's quite possible for a man to actually genuinely be in love with you and then still have sex with someone else. And that love he has for you has not changed. What people just don't understand, the issue here is one of respect.
Thank you. Sorry, Femi. Like, I'm going to have to cut you guys on this.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to cut you on this because from my own experience, you know, I'm very blunt with things, yeah. Like, my baby dad, he's well older, he's a talking drummer, he's in the industry. So, obviously, when I met him, I knew he was a womanizer. But I made it clear to him, whatever you want to do, your rubbishness, your shitness, don't bring it to my doorstep. That's all I don't want. But then, in the fact of what we're talking about, too, Baba, he's had kids, even though being with this woman. So, me, you can, listen, I'm not saying I would love to be with a cheater, but in this world, you have to think men like their options. It's like, you have jollof rice today, you have padiyam that evening as well. So for me, I'm like, okay, you can't really stop a man from cheating. Because if he will cheat, he will cheat. Because every guy has their own spec. You can, as Femi said, you can love someone, but still do your shenanigans outside. But then for me, it's for bringing it like home and having the kids. I feel like it's too extra. But I get what Baba was saying, that men will have their own cake. You know, they would like to have their cake here and eat the whole cake and go back to the main cake, if you get what I'm trying to say. So for me, like, I would prefer, if I know as you're saying, if you know your partner, like, if you stick for it, you stick for it. It's like Annie. Annie knows that if your Baba is a person that likes to Hong Kong girls, you know that's your man. So you can't be now crying. After
was she crying?
No, she was crying.
She cries a lot.
Emotional.
She cries
a lot. Sorry, Annie, but it's just the truth for me. Because, like, you know your man as Baba is, before you guys got married or marriage or got to that level, he had kids way before you was in that, you know, situation with him. So for me, it's just like, come on, if you know your man, you know your man. That's what I say with I've had that experience when before my baby dad passed away. You know how many girls come up to his best friend and say, I slept with this, you know, I don't want to really say his name, but I slept with him. I'm like, oh, but I don't care because I already knew.
So, you know,
the situation, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, that a man can love you. It does not mean he doesn't love you. But then it becomes a issue of respect. But people say, oh, if he loves me, he wouldn't do this, he wouldn't that. No, he actually loves you. But there's disrespect now involved. And when women do it, it's the same. It's just that we tend to see women as more emotional. That's why they say when men cheat, emotions are not involved. He just wants to fuck. But when a woman cheats, obviously she has feelings for that person or whatever. It's a lie.
She don't have to have feelings for
it's
that person.
It's a lie.
Though.
A lot of women
cheat. Uncle B, what do you think? I don't feel like
just because they are sexually attracted to somebody,
I'm
they
not
will
saying
cheat.
women don't cheat, but I'm saying a woman don't have to be emotional. You guys say, oh, women are emotional. Yeah, but like, obviously, we're in 2023. So a lot of things that's happened in the past that women will now, that's why we're like saying, we're open, we don't give a shit, we cheat. Do you understand? So I feel that's why, in a sense, if you get what I'm trying to say. So, Uncle B, that's what I'm going to say from you, because I know that you want to say something, but it's like...
Yeah, I mean, look, end of the day, I don't believe in all that stuff about, men cheat, women, because women they handle business.
See, if you hear some,
the problem,
stories
the thing is, we
somebody
don't pay attention. We really don't pay attention to them.
That's the thing.
Why?
I generally believe. Let me tell you why. What I think is, women are better actors, and I'll tell you why I said that. If a man is going to cheat now, like they say, men are led by their dick. You can tell when a man is sexually attracted to somebody. The way he moves, things will start changing. A guy that doesn't care about his personal hygiene or his personal features before, he's not shaving more, he's buying perfume. A woman can easily tell if something is going on with that man. But the other way around, a man will never know. And that's why women are good. Everything will stay the same. She will still be cooking for you, rubbing your belly, calling you those endearing words, and she will be cheating. You get what I'm saying? And women are better actors. That's why somebody said, if we do DNA, if everybody right now,
but do you think,
if we pause the world right now and decide to do DNA on everybody's kids, the world will burn. That's just the truth. The world will burn. You know, and I know that Abayo doesn't want to talk about this too much because he doesn't want backlash from Madam.
Oh no. Hey, no. I mean, I don't think it's a case of. The thing is, I just know what I know because I have experience, right? And nothing beats experience. You know, if you are with someone and you find out after the fact that this same person that you are with that's maybe sleeps in your house 3-4 days in a row also has these other people, and like how you know, so that basically told me everything that I need to know.
Pretty much.
So told me everything I need to know. So
pretty much.
So I don't believe the hype. I don't do sound bites. I don't, a man's world is a lie. You know. women handle business.
We still have a lot to say, but
wait, sorry, Uncle P, what do you mean women handle their business? Like if they find out about, what do you mean by that?
So what I mean is, because we think it's a man's world, we don't pay attention to women and see them moving. So they are actually moving. But you don't pay attention.
They are like Messi with those behind the distant pass.
It doesn't occur to you that
she's going to do this to
you
me.
understand what I'm saying? Like the woman will hold you and say, oh, you just shaved. Oh, you just did this. Oh, there must be someone else.
It's basically what I just said.
But the man won't do the same thing.
It's basically what I just said. Women are better actors. That's the truth. I can tell you now, majority of women will know when something has changed with their man in the house. Because all of a sudden, he's dressing better. This guy doesn't care before what he looks like. All of a sudden, he wants to start going to the gym. He's shaving now. He's wearing perfume. What's going on? Like, things are changing. You can live with your woman for 100 years. Nothing will change in that house. And she will be cheating. And everything will stay the same. You get? But men don't know how to compartmentalize those things.
So this is exactly what I'm saying. So if the woman actually changes her hair and changes her perfume and changes things, you won't know.
That's because
because as a man you don't pay attention.
That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. Men don't pay attention to those things. That's the thing.
That's true though.
Women pay attention to those things. Men don't. That's the thing.
Let me go just the same us. That's all I will say. So to round things up, I mean, we have a lot on the docket to discuss today. But I'm getting that, when the behind the camera guy is doing like this, they're telling you to round up. So, it's been a pleasure to, do this again today. We thank, and see you people, be careful. Hey, all the comments you are leaving on the TikTok videos, I'm seeing them, but keep leaving your views.
Under fire.
No, and that's Sky, not me. We will try to engage with you guys. Just keep dropping your comments, Yes, of course, we value your opinions and stuff, But I would like to leave you guys with this. I saw something online. I just wanted to share quickly, and then we'll call it a day. You will never fully understand people, Stop trying too hard to figure out why they do what they do, or why they think the way they think, why they say what they say, or how they are, okay? Be as emphatic as you can when it's called for. Then focus on understanding yourself. That is the part that you need. Basically, what I'm saying is live your life to your own standards, within your own principles, be kind to other people, but don't really care. Don't dictate your life. Don't mold yourself based on what people will say or what people will think and stuff like that, So with that, I say it's been another wonderful episodes on the More You Look podcast. My name remains Femi, and I've got Bayo Mishore here. He's part of the team now, so like they say, to the moon. I'll be able to talk that thing now. To the moon, I'll be whatever.
And beyond.
Yeah, you guys be kind to one another. We'll see you again in the next episode. Take care.
Bye.